Dankeschön.
Good morning, Colonel, sir. Fan bright today. I hear down at the billets, prices is picking up, and it's a big year for cotton.
And heroic, a charismatic superstar who leapt on the screen. Men wanted to be like him and women wanted to be with him. But in real life, he was complicated, longing for recognition as both an actor and writer. Devilishly handsome and charming, he was a risk-taker who flouted society's conventions and inevitably landed in trouble. For him, life was a series of adventures. Making movies was one of them.
Well, this is Colonel Braxton Beauregard Burlique the Fifth, adventurer, treasure hunter, swashbuckler extraordinaire, at your service, madam. Well, today's talk is going to be on an original topic. As you well know, in the World War II collecting field, there's a lot of fakery going on. But there's also not just fakery and what you could call misrepresentation, but we have people trying to sell stuff that, they're saying, well, that it was made during World War II, and what it is, it's actually later stuff. Now, there's American items, there's British items, there's German items, Russian items. Tonight I'm going to kind of just go through a few examples of some of the German items that we see that some of these people are misrepresenting as World War II pieces. Like for instance here, I'm going to show this to you, son. This here is a case you can put like a like a mortar shell, or perhaps a larger artillery type, rocket type shell. There's various things, like ones for those Nebelwehr, the German copy of the Stalin organ and that. And this particular case is a German one. It's definitely German. As you can see there, son, we've got German writing on this, okay? But the thing is this was made, I lost my screen there, son. Let me put this back up here. This was made after World War II. When it was made, well, I don't see a date. I'm going to say maybe the 70s or 1980s, maybe even the 90s. This particular item has not been dated, but as you can see, it has this like ribbed body on the case. And what I want to show you is this. See here on the screen, I have one here. It has the straight lines. That's an original piece in the picture. That's styled sort of like the German gas mask canisters, but that's how the World War II ones are styled. And as you can see, this has a different mechanism at the top. That one has a thing like this, but it does not have the handle like you see on the one in the picture here. So, something like this could be worth $50, $60, $70, and one like that could, probably worth 2 or 3 times that at least. So as you can see, if you're uninformed, you might end up buying a later item like that, and it's not the real McCoy. So another thing too I want to point out is like, for instance, and this is pretty simple. You've got like these visor caps. Now this particular one is an East German one, obviously post-war, probably made in the 70s or 80s. It has the East German commie emblem on it, but some unscrupulous fella might perhaps take this out, put a reproduction cockade and wreath, and put a German, eagle with the swastika on there, and if you aren't up on these things and you're some rookie, like say the Iowa Farm Boy, you might get fooled by that. And you look around, well, this material here, despite its look of like wool, I believe it's like a wool poly blend, although now I think that's definitely what it is, definitely. And the other telltale is, this strap is plastic and cheap. And then the giveaway, of course, is inside here. You have this emblem. Now, maybe somebody might take this out. I think that's printed on there. Take that out and maybe stamp it with something, and maybe replace this, put something else. So they might keep this. And then you could find yourself paying a crazy amount of money, and guess what? It's a phony. You take a hat that might only be worth $5 or $10, and before you know it, somebody's got a hat they're trying to get you to pay like $800 for. So, just little things like that. Then another thing too, I wanted y'all to know is not only later German items, but you get people. They'll take this field gear, like this pouch here. This looks very similar to German field gear, okay? But I can tell by the pattern, you got this sort of this colored pattern there. This is Swiss, and this, and probably post-war, I would think it is. But sometimes you do end up with actual World War II Swiss pieces, and people will change the markings, I lost my screen there. And they'll phone in, maybe put some fake stamps on the back, and a pouch that might be worth 10 or 15 bucks. Before you know it, they're saying it's a World War II German one, and they want a couple $100 for that. So, the point I'm making is fakes are not just manufactured after the fact. Sometimes they'll take items and they'll create what I call counterfeit classics. They'll embellish them. They'll change them to make them look like something more desirable. So that's the Swiss field gear. You got to be very careful, because I don't have one out here, probably in a future video. Like there's field packs, look very, very similar to the German ones. And they take a Swiss one and they may change it up a little bit, and before you know it, they've got an item they're trying to get a small fortune for. Another thing too, while we're talking Swiss pieces, is now this is a Swiss helmet. It's obviously a Swiss, M18 helmet. Hell, it's even still got the tag off the guy I bought it from, and it says a World War II M18 Swiss, helmet. And, this guy really crazy. That helmet's not valued anywhere near $145. This is probably $50, $60 helmet. This one's a little bit rough. It has a period liner, but the point I'm making is sometimes they'll say, well, this was a helmet that was used by the German satellites, or the Germans had put these into service toward the end of the war. These were Swiss helmets. The Germans never used Swiss helmets during World War II. And just so you know, that's a Swiss helmet. That was not used by Axis forces or the Germans and the Volkssturm. And you get a lot of stories on things, and you want to avoid. You don't want to buy a story. You want to buy an actual artifact that could stand on its own. Another thing too that I want to point out is, this is getting back to the German items. Now you have helmets. Now this looks like an M40 German helmet, and some people might get excited, but this is not a World War II German M40 helmet. This is a post-war German police helmet, and there are ways to tell that this is not a World War II issue helmet. Number one is This eyelet here, it's a lot thicker on the police helmet that was made after the war. These were probably made, I believe, in the mid-50s, maybe even into the 60s. But this piece here, this piece here has the thick eyelet. The ones off the World War II era helmets were a lot thinner. This vent. Another point to make is the liner. This is definitely not a German style World War II liner. This is the police helmet liner from after the war. The fingers on the real German World War II helmets, they were, you know, there was less of them and they were much thicker, and they brought it tighter on in there. And another big point on these is that your normal German helmets, see if we can find it, had the markings. Now, this, like the World War II ones, has the size. It has Q64. But how we know it is post-war is, if I can find it, it's on here. Where the hell is that mark? Yeah, let me see here. Hang on, let me find the mark here. Where is the mark on this helmet? Well, you know what? This one doesn't have a mark. If a real one would have like a 4-digit code for the factory on it. But I have another one that does have the mark. Hang on. Now, this is another police helmet that somebody painted up as an SS helmet. This one does have the stamp. Here you can see it. You see this here? We can look here. It's a, what is that? It's like a, oh, here. Here it is. See that, son? It's an LS in a circle. It's an LS in a circle with the size 64, and the same as the other one. It has the post-war liner, and there's people trying to pawn those off as original World War II Nazi helmets. Well, that's just not true. Now this one here, I don't have a World War II regular field helmet. This is an M64. I apologize. I put my other helmets away. I didn't have them handy. I might do a follow-up on this video and show some real ones. But this shows, I mean, well, this shows the traditional liner you'd see on a police helmet. But the military ones of that style that I just showed are going to have the fewer fingers, and they're going to be longer with the string attached. And the eyelet, like I told y'all. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out is another trick that some of these boys do is they try to pawn off, like, well, let me get the computer here. They try to pawn off, now this is a sword. This sword probably dates back, you know, back in the day, maybe early 1900s, and they try to say, this is a German military sword. It has the lion's head, and it has, you know, the handle guard, and it has the, you know, the handle just like you'd see on some of these, and it even has fancy etching and everything else. But the point is, this sword is actually an American. It was made in Germany, but it was made for an outfit. Wait a minute, it was one of these fraternal organizations. Has a guy's name. Oh yeah, here it is. I think it's that's the Odd Fellows. So don't get fooled by, oh, it has a crown and a shield and all this. This sword is German made, but it's for a fraternal organization. It's not worth, I think, anywhere near what a German military sword would be worth, although it's very similar in construction. That's just a little video I wanted to do to show, you know, what's going on with some of these items that people, they're real, but yet they're misrepresented as being genuine World War II items, when in fact they're post-war, or they're not military at all. You know, I mean, now this is a real World War I Iron Cross second class, but I just have that as sort of a eye candy here. Fake medals is another topic altogether. But one thing I will point out, after World War II, you had like fake Iron Crosses and Knights Crosses. And what they did was they took the swastika out of the middle. They took, the crown's gone. There's no swastika or initial, but you have a blank one. And it has the wreath on the back. I think it has 1813, no crown. But they make those as post-war. They started making those, I think, 1957. Those are not World War II issue, and that's just something you should be aware of also. So that was just my quick update on maybe a few things that might help you out there in the field, boys. So I'm going to sign off now. Well, this is Colonel Braxton Beauregard Burlique the Fifth, adventurer, treasure hunter, swashbuckler extraordinaire, at your service, madam, signing off. Bye, y'all.